This week on GamePron News, we're in Anaheim, California for BlizzCon 2010, an annual celebration of all things Blizzard. We've checked out panels on the 5th and final playable class of Diablo 3, watched a very cinematic presentation of the Cataclysm trailer, and had a bit of a look at some brand spanking new mods for StarCraft 2, not to mention chatting to a bunch of developers. There's been some other stuff going on in the world of gaming too, though. It was payday for some lucky Team Fortress 2 community members, while Steam raced past the 30 million account mark. Minecraft was DOSed, and John Romero launched his first game in a while. It's for Facebook. Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen, and I'm pleased to report that Southern California finally delivered some nicer weather for the 20,000 or so Blizzard fans who converged on Anaheim for the two-day convention. This year we'd been pre-warned not to expect anything new from StarCraft 2, and with the World of Warcraft Cataclysm release date announced a few weeks ago, it was Diablo 3's time in the spotlight. The opening ceremony, traditionally the time to make major announcements or reveal poorly kept secrets, introduced the gaming population to the 5th and final playable class for Diablo 3, the Demon Hunter. She's the game's only ranged class and rounds out the variety of characters we've already met.
They are the prey, and I am the hunter. Blizzard also took the opportunity to announce PvP battle arenas for the largely PvE game, which will give people the opportunity to beat the snot out of each other in a 1-on-1 or 3v3 setup. With nearly 97 billion possible builds per class, and there are 5 classes in the game, remember, we're already being warned that there is no way the developers can make sure everybody's nicely balanced, so some classes will automatically be better for PvP and the rest of you will just have to try a bit harder. While current rumours are suggesting a late 2011 release, there's been no official window announced for the action RPG hybrid. I'm afraid we're gonna have to wait until it's done. We'd been told already not to expect anything about StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm at this year's BlizzCon, so we were all curious to see what would come out of the franchise. Happily, Blizzard brought us a bit of a left-field surprise, revealing 4 new official custom maps for the game: Star Jeweled, IO Chef, Left to Die, and Blizzard Dota. They've all been created by StarCraft developers to further illustrate just what can be achieved through the in-game map editor. All 4 will be available to StarCraft 2 players later this year, and we're told all 4 will be absolutely free. Of the 3 Blizzard universes, the biggest one was also the quietest this year. Everybody in World of Warcraft is getting psyched for Deathwing's big appearance when Cataclysm launches in December, so all eyes were on the recently released cinematic trailer, which looks breathtaking on the big screens around the convention. That said, there is a certain quiet buzz in the air, with more than one WoW developer suggesting that preliminary work has started on the 4th expansion for the MMO. Apparently they're working on one particular idea, and that idea is making the cynical developers a little bit happy and excited. Obviously, we've got a bit of a wait before we hear anything more about it, but it's nice to know they are planning for the future. As with all of these events, the cosplayers were out in force. We saw ghosts, wish doctors, an awesome female monk, a Queen of Blades or 2, a moonkin, and of course plenty of blue body paint. In his opening presentation, Mike Morhaime admitted that they'd kind of painted themselves into a corner with last year's musical act. How do you top Ozzy Osbourne? After thinking about it for a few moments, the answer was obvious. You get a band who can kill a yak from 200 feet using mind bullets. I am, of course, talking about the greatest band in the world. Tenacious D and Jack Black and Kyle Gass closed the night in style, performing a fitting tribute to a great weekend of gaming. In other news, creating Team Fortress 2 items has really paid off for 5 Steam community members who were part of the initial round of content creation included in the September 30th Manconomy update for the game. This week, all 5 were given paychecks for the first 2 weeks of sales, with the payouts ranging from $39,000 to $47,000 each. Initially, Steam and the mod makers had arranged that the community members would be paid directly through their personal PayPal accounts, but within days of the project going live, the generated revenue exceeded the cap of PayPal's maximum deposit, so Steam held on to the money for a little while. In a nice little aside, 2 of the developers really wanted to make sure they got their money, so they flew up to Seattle to receive their first checks directly from Valve. If you want to see what all the fuss is about, the peer-to-peer marketplace is a newly implemented feature in Steamworks, with Team Fortress 2 the first game to utilise the application. It's available to players in-game via the Manco store, and Valve are promising regular updates to the content. Valve actually has some good news of their own this week too. Their digital distribution platform Steam has just rocketed past the 30 million account mark, reporting year-over-year new account growth of over 178%, a number reflected in sales growth of more than 200%.
There are apparently more than 6 million unique gamers accessing Steam each day, with peak simultaneous player numbers up to more than 3 million. Gabe Newell explains that the platform is on track to record its biggest year of its 6-year history, and thanks to the newly implemented Mac support as a key reason, alongside the Steam wallet and in-game item buying support. In response to all of these sales and new customers, the Steam infrastructure has been upgraded too. It can now run at 400 gigabytes per second, which they tell us is enough bandwidth to transfer a digital copy of the Oxford English Dictionary 92.6 times per second. Apparently that's the official measurement used around these days in Valve. In case you hadn't heard, indie game Minecraft is taking the world by storm, and this week proved it, with Notch's blocky baby attacked virtually by a bunch of disappointed Minecraft fans who were demanding more updates for the game. A post on an internet forum claimed ownership of the distributed denial of service, DOS attack, explaining that its purpose was to send Notch a clear message of how the future of Minecraft will turn out unless he gets to work. The post also claimed more than 83,000 bots could be used for the seizure, and explained that, if they wanted to, they could keep this going for weeks. Since the attack, Notch explains that he has signed up for a DOS protection service and also took the opportunity to upgrade his server hardware to a much more powerful beast. So this might have actually been a positive for the game, even if it wasn't quite in the way they'd expected. John Romero still wants you to be his bitch, but in this new century he's taken to social networking to achieve his goal, specifically Facebook. The creator of both Doom and Quake, terrifying, violent games that scarred an entire generation of gamers, is back in casual form. He's been working as a consultant to social gaming company LOL Apps, and over the past few months has created the delightfully soft and gentle Facebook game Ravenwood Fair. And, as always, Romero brings controversy. The game was meant to launch last weekend, but got in trouble with the Facebook police even before it was released. Following a privacy scare which saw a handful of games accused of wrongfully transmitting user data to third-party companies, all LOL Apps games were shut down. The company has since sat down with Facebook and sorted out their problems, and now ensure that it will protect the safety and privacy of their gamers. So now we know. You start out developing games including BFGs, huge bloodthirsty monsters and interplanetary violence, and you end up coaxing procrastinators into designing a ridiculously cute woodland setting for the princess's wedding. I don't like to think too much about which one would be the more popular among gamers. Until next week, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this is GamePron News.